That was one of the worst losses in the 122 years of Florida State football. It was so catastrophic. Florida State does not have a choice but to fire Mike Norvell at the end of the year. That's how bad of a loss it was. And it was bad, not because of the result, not because on the surface you lost to Boston College and went to 0-2 in the season. That's not why I think Mike Norvell should be fired after last night. He should be fired after last night because of what the effort that we saw from his team or lack thereof. We witnessed a team quit on their coach last night. On national TV, they quit on Norvell. Because if Florida State was trying, there is no way you can tell me that they actually cared and had some pride. They would allow 263 rushing yards like they did last night. And they actually had, any sort of respect for themselves or respect for their head coach. There's no way that offensive line is paving the way in the run game to average 1.3 yards per rush. And there's no way you can watch DJ Uiagalelei, whether it's his decision-making, some of the lack of concentration by the receivers and dropping easy passes, where he completes the same amount of passes as incompletions. 21 apiece. That was one of the most disgraceful efforts I have ever seen from a storied program in my life. I don't see how, if you're Florida State, how you can believe this is the guy to take you going forward here. It was awful. It was catastrophic. And the concerning part is, from an effort perspective only, Monday night should have been the easiest get-up game that Mike Norvell has ever had to coach. Think about it. Last week, you lose to Georgia Tech. You've heard a week of crap about how Florida State stinks. I've said it. A lot of other people have said it as well. But now in this new era of the college football playoff, where now it's a 12-team playoff, one loss does not end your season. So if you're Florida State, you could have and should have looked at that loss by Georgia Tech and say, well, we have another opportunity here. Our season is far from over. We can now prove everybody, shut all the doubters up with a big-time performance against Boston College in what was a nationally televised standalone game. You are back at home in the friendly confines of Doak Walker Stadium, and you still have a chip on your shoulder after last year's disrespect you could feel of getting left out of the college football playoff at 13-0. All those factors were working in Florida State's favor as to why they should have shot out of the gate, punched Boston College in the mouth, and never looked back. And instead, they never got out of first gear. They looked like they wanted to be anywhere but on the field. BC came out swinging. They had no response. They had no fights. It wasn't like it wasn't the fact that they lost. It's the fact they didn't even try. They didn't even show up. That's the effort they put out for their head coach and their fans in a game where everybody is watching. Mike Norvell does not have the ear of his team. He does not have the respect of his team. And I don't see how, again, if you're Florida State right now going forward, how you can believe this is the guy. That's the answer that's going to take you to the promised land. I mean, that effort yesterday, I think wipes away all of the good from the 13-0 start to the season you had last year. It was that alarming and that bad. Mike Norvell, after the game, was talking to the media, and he took the blame himself for not having the guys ready to play.
Sick to how the season started. Obviously tonight, I failed in preparing the team to be able to go out and respond tonight, and and just the things that were necessary for us, the things we talked about, the things we emphasized. Obviously, in all phases, we're not able to execute.
Either Mike Norvell failed in what should have been an easy bounce-back game as a 17-point favorite at home to get the season back on track, or he's jumping on the sword because he did his job in getting his players prepared, but his players didn't listen to him. And you watch, again, how that team played. I would argue last night, the players looked like they tuned him out. Like they didn't care what he had to say. That team looked like a bunch of individuals, not a team whatsoever. And I'll say this about the players in any sport. Players know. Players are the first ones to sniff out a fraud, whether it's one of their teammates, whether it's a coach. And you watch the effort. You watch the body language from last night's game. That, to me, says they smell a fraud in their head coach. They don't respect him. They don't believe in what he's trying to teach them. That is problematic. And now the results are starting to bear that out as well. This is the third time in Mike Norvell's 5 years at Florida State that the Seminoles have started off a year 0-2. If you look at the storied history of the program, let's go back to when Bobby Bowden first got there in 1976. In the 48 years, or I should say in those 48 years, the Seminoles have combined to start 0-2 6 times in 48 years. And now we're seeing right now, in 5 years under Mike Norvell, this happening for the third time. The results are not there. The results shouldn't be for a program as legendary, as storied, as historic as Florida State. You should not be operating like a group of 5 school, where if everything aligns, the perfect storm ensues, you can maybe, have a great season and push to be a playoff team. The bar at Florida State is college football playoff contention every single year. National title contention every single year. Not once every 5 years, not once every 10 years. And you look at Mike Norvell so far, in his 5 years there, they have been a true college football playoff contender 1 out of 5 years. It's a group of 5 mentality. You shouldn't need the perfect storm to get this team to be playing in the weakest conference, the ACC, at a high level. Yet that's exactly what happened. He's done a poor job, Norvell that is, of identifying talent in the transfer portal. He's done a poor job right now at developing that talent here this year. And that's why you heard him after the game apologizing to the entire Florida State community.
It's extremely disappointing. And, I apologize to our fans, apologize to everybody associated with the program. I mean, that was extremely disappointing that we're not better.
Disappointing is a nice way to put it. I mean, this is so bad. You have fans now getting chased down by the internet to eat dog crap because they made a promise they thought they would never actually pay off, which is, hey, I'll eat dog crap if BC beats Florida State. And now that's, well, we hope happens. That guy is right now tried to remove himself from the internet. Can't do that, buddy. Good luck with that one. I've seen message board posts of Florida State fans asking for lawyers so that they can try to countersue and press, or say that the players are embezzling them because the NIL funds are not being used properly because the team is not playing up to the level that they paid the players to play at. And this is just this is panic city in Tallahassee. And it starts with the head man and Mike Norvell. He did not do a good job at rebuilding this team after last year. He's not done a good job at sustaining success at Florida State. And now, to me, it feels like the team has quit on him. 2 games into the year, it feels like the team has quit on him. And it's not going to get better anytime soon. This is a team that's going to struggle to become bowl eligible. And with a rough 2024 ahead, if you're Florida State, I don't see how you can justify bringing Mike Norvell back for 2025.